Hello and welcome. Today we have a VOD review on Anubis. This is a Scrim match. I've never seen this video before, so I'll be commenting in real time. So let's get into it. Running the 2-2-2 with the Widow, perfectly reasonable for this map. Let's talk about how to attack it with this composition. So we'll let this video run a little bit so we can get a better screen to draw on.
Jump him while Zen and stay.
That'll do. So off the top of my head, I would send Genji on this left side, look for a flank, get through that window, and get a nice deep flank behind the point. Widow would be up here applying pressure, and the rest of the forces would push right this way. Now, of course, there are multiple ways to do this. This isn't the only way. This is just one decent initial plan. Now, obviously, this is also contingent on what the defense is doing. Depending on what you see in a moment, you can react accordingly. And in order to be able to have enough time to do that, you have to make sure that you're patient. So as a team, you want to push out like these sides a little bit and methodically, check corners, look for any kind of information, and react accordingly. So just, as an example, it's important that Widowmaker just doesn't immediately grapple, up here, and because there might be an enemy Widowmaker, or if Genji just immediately swift strikes into here or something into like a Junkrat trap, then that's bad too. So again, be very patient, methodical, push out the sides, check all your corners, check for enemies contesting flanks, things like that, and then change your battle plan as necessary. Okay.
Stay back at the Widow. Yeah.
Genji low.
Interesting. So the defense is actually showing you what they're doing by not showing you very much. So they're not here, right? Which is something that a lot of defenses do. So you can almost certainly guess that they're on this right side, right? There could be some shenanigans over here, but if I was the defense, I would be putting up a flanker on this side, right? They already have a flanker in the Genji who's scouting right now. But because they have a Genji, maybe they don't have, let's say, a Tracer or a Sombra, but it's possible that they still do, and if they did, if it were me, I would have them on this side. That would allow for a nice collapse. So, for instance, if you guys push up more, or this way more, then they can the flankers can easily collapse on you, Genji can collapse on you, and whatever's on this side can collapse on you. So, again, be very patient here. I would have Genji going that left side. I think it's open, or at the very least, he'll find out if it's not. Widow can apply pressure from the top, and you guys can just kind of stay put around here for a little while, scout a little bit, but don't get overly aggressive. Let your teammates push out, find more information, and react accordingly. Okay, cool.
Yeah, right side. Lucio out of position.
Okay, this is a little bit aggressive. I don't like this so much. They're diving you now. Oh, and is this your Genji? So right off the bat, I don't like Genji being here. Again, I wanted everyone to kind of fan out a little bit more and see what the defense is doing. You guys kind of rushed in a little bit too early, and they're looking to dive you, which means they're probably starting to flank. But I'm not quite sure where their Genji is, and I don't know what else they're running. So let's see what happens.
Get this Winston.
Okay, so you guys did an okay job of this. So, like right here. Okay, so let's backtrack.
Yeah, right side. Lucio
Okay, so as soon as the Lucio and the Winston and I think a Diva too, as soon as they came down, this would have been a good opportunity to kind of start disengaging and stretch out the defense, right? Their back line, ideally you want to kind of make them more vulnerable. So for instance, if you kind of disengage a little bit and start fighting, start backpedaling, then what that's going to allow you to do is draw their backline out of their defensive positions, like any Zenyatta's or Anna's or whatever. We'll find out in a moment what their comp is. To come out of their defensive positions, abandon their high ground potentially in order to heal their tanks. And if they don't do that, then great. Then they don't have line of sight. Then you can more easily kill their tanks. So you're trying to put their healers in a bad position where they either heal and put themselves in a more vulnerable position, or stay safe, but then they can't heal their front line. So cool. So it kind of feels like you guys try to do that, but I think you guys fought for a little bit too long. So let's see what happens. So like this whole time, you could have been trying to disengage, backpedaling while fighting. Okay.
Get this Winston, get this Winston.
Tracer trying to get me.
Trace on me.
Okay, so they have a Tracer. Okay, so they have the Genji and the Tracer. So a lot of flanking power. So if I had to guess, that Tracer was probably posting up on, on this side over here, right? And you guys kind of made it easier for her to do that because it feels like your Genji didn't even contest that left side flank. He kind of went onto that ledge as we saw earlier. Okay, so that means we know I think they have a Winston, Diva, Lucio, Tracer, Genji, and we don't know what their 6th man is. Okay. Okay.
You kept running away.
Oh, and a Sombra. Okay, cool. So they got a Sombra here. I think she was over here, and I think this is her. Okay. Interesting. So a lot of flanking power and a little bit low on the healing, but that's why they have the Sombra. Okay. All right, we'll see how this fight plays out, but it feels like, yeah, you guys kind of just got collapsed on and surrounded, which is what you want to be doing, right? So, cool. And I feel like it has mostly to do with that impatience. You guys didn't really, set up appropriately. They kind of immediately started attacking you, and there actually was an opportunity for you to kind of disengage and make this fight a little bit more in your favor. And that being said, you guys can still turn this, so we'll see what happens. But again, if you guys had started that disengage a little bit sooner, I think that would have been better. But also, they don't really have a back line, right? So, interesting. It's still disengaging. Still would have been in your favor. Draw them away from their health packs and things like that. But yes, interesting. Cool. Okay.
We have to get out of that room.
Tracer half.
Get the monkeys. He's reloading.
Okay, so you guys are wiping. It feels like
He's gonna die.
interesting.
Yeah,
You just got a really critical kill on that Genji. You guys should have a man advantage for this next fight because Lucio's going to get back to the point faster than Genji. So, cool. So, you guys should take advantage of that. But still, you don't want to just rush in there again. You want to be a little bit more patient. So, we'll see what happens. And that being said, if there's an opportunity, take it. But in general, patience will reward you more than just rushing in there.
Genji's dead.
Okay, so any more kills? No? Okay, cool.
We don't go into that building, we go around that building, our speed boost as soon as we go around the
So it looks like you guys are... Oh, and then Winston. I think that's Winston who just dove in. Okay, so you guys are getting very aggressive. So, again, I would have liked to see more patience, but I don't know what you're seeing because I only have Lucio's perspective, so I can't quite assess your gameplay, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, monkey 1 HP.
Okay, get monkey.
Lucio behind, Lucio low.
You got a kill, that's good. Collapsing on the Sombra. I like that.
Tracer dead.
You guys are getting
Diva
kills?
behind, Diva behind.
Nice. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what the defense was doing, but you guys took advantage. Again, you had the man advantage, but actually not really because Lucio, it feels like you guys got that kill on the Lucio before the enemy Lucio, before your Lucio was even in the fight. So a bit of a sloppy misplay by the defense, but again, I couldn't quite see what happened. So.
Back.
Yeah, let's push on the point,
Okay, so I think you guys got it.
Genji and me, need help.
Cool.
Genji
Nice.
half behind.
Okay, you guys totally got this, right?
Got
Yeah, okay, cool.
Point.
Nice.
Why are you dead, Alex?
I don't know.
So again, I can't quite see what happened, but you guys saw an opportunity, you took it, awesome. Okay, cool. So now you're switching to the Tracer. Okay, from the Widow. Okay. It looks like the enemy has not switched, so we'll see if they do.
Let's push right side this time. Right side.
How close are you to?
Okay, so you guys made the call to go right side. You have the Tracer now. Okay, so, and it looks like the enemy, the opponents aren't switching, but we'll verify that later. Okay, so this is how generally I would attack this. Again, off the top of my head, and of course, as always, there are multiple ways to do it. I would send Genji or Tracer this way. Genji or Tracer this way, so pick one to go one way. And then everyone else down main. So I would probably have Winston and Diva way in the front, obviously, and Zenyatta as far back as possible around here. Lucio can, depending on what's happening, either fall back to help Zenyatta or go forward to help the tank line. Now, the critical thing to note here is that by Genji and Tracer pushing these sides, it's going to allow Zenyatta to have more, Zenyatta over here, to have a little bit more peace of mind that he won't get flanked as easily. Or rather, the opponents are going to have to work really hard to get nice flanks off on him. So, The exception being Sombra. Sombra can pretty easily bypass Genji or Tracer on this left or right side without them knowing. And that's the key thing, is that if Zenyatta knows someone's coming from a left or right side, then he can more easily defend himself with a good right click and discords and things like that. It's when Zenyatta gets jumped on, like when he gets surprised, that's when it's really hard as Zenyatta to defend yourself. So, right. So the key thing being Sombra. So Sombra's going to be able to pretty much whenever she wants, she can actually, jump on this Zenyatta. But the key thing though is that when she EMPs, this is actually still good for the offense because she's going to have to make a choice. Like, as we can see here, this offense is very spread out, right? Covering a lot of space. So it's going to actually make it really difficult for Sombra to get really good EMPs. And I think you guys just made the call to go this right side over here. If you guys clump up like that, let's say you do like some kind of like 5-1 situation where 5 of you go this way and then you send like Genji or Tracer this way. That's still really easy for Sombra to get EMPs onto this big old clump. Or if you went down main, still, big clump. So what I'm trying to point out here is that you need to spread out your forces, push out the sides, check all your corners, make sure that it's going to be hard for them to flank Zenyatta. That's going to protect Zenyatta more. It's going to give him more protection, more security, maybe is a better word. And then also make it so that they can't get really, big EMPs. You're gonna force Sombra to get either to, EMP, solo EMP Zen or to, EMP the front line. So in either case, that is better than, say, getting EMP'd as a big old clump. Because Zenyatta would still die in that case almost certainly. Because he only has 50 health. So, okay, cool. So, and you can do this other ways. You don't have to send Genji and Tracer the left and right side. You could send both of them, the left or the right side, and kind of, there's tons of ways you can do it. But that's off the top of my head. That's how I would do it. Okay.
Alright, looking good.
Fairy?
And you also have the Winston and the Diva ultimate. So I would do maybe a dry push right here. I probably wouldn't use anything. You guys are clumping up on this right side. I'm not really a big fan of that. Is that Genji? Okay, you have Tracer. I think that's Tracer. Is that Tracer? I think that. Let me just verify.
Fairy? What's your ult?
Okay, yeah, definitely Tracer. And it looks like, was that Sombra? I don't know if that was Sombra. Well, let's see that one more time.
Alright, looking good.
Fairy? What's your ult?
Okay, I thought that might have been Tracer recall, but it looks like that was a Sombra translocate from the enemy team. So, okay, cool. It would have been nice if that was actually the recall. And actually, really quick. Oh, darn it. Let's just check the enemy scoreboard. I think there's another one coming up. Damn it. Oh, man, getting baited. Okay. Actually, no, this is important. We do need to know this.
How close are you to ult?
I promise I can do it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the enemies have not switched. So, I like that you're using your scoreboard, but please hold on to it for me. And, just to make sure you're seeing what your opponents are doing. You're making sure they're not switching. So, okay, cool. Okay, so let's see how you do this right side attack. I'm not a big fan of it, but we'll see how it goes.
Fairy? What's your ult?
Okay, and there's the Zenyatta. Okay.
I've got...
Okay, so you can see you guys are all clumped up here. Oh man, this is just, it's not great on attack or defense. Clumping is just never good.
Me too again.
Oh, and that Diva ultimate. Oh, if you watch any of my videos, you know I don't like Diva's opening fights with ultimates. There are exceptions. This doesn't look like one of those. It might get a lucky kill. It looks like you were kind of shooting it into that door area. But good opponents aren't really gonna... Well, we'll just leave it at that. I'm not a big fan of that Diva ultimate, for one, because it was an opening. And like I said, there are exceptions. This doesn't look like one of them. You're not... Like, typically when you're going to open up a Diva ultimate like that, you're going to either make sure that you're getting a kill, like an obvious kill. Like, there's a Zenyatta in open space who, for sure it's going to kill him, or you're going to trade a Transcendence out of it. Okay, that's perfectly reasonable. Or if you're kind of marrying that Diva ultimate with pressure on the other side of the map to kind of, force people into a tough decision. It looks like, it looks like you might have had that Tracer on that left side, but I don't think you guys had a plan for that, and the quality is not so great, so I can't quite tell where your Tracer went. But if you had like a Tracer kind of pushing and kind of pushing this left side, into that door, and then you send this D.Va ultimate into that door, okay, that's like a pretty good thing, especially if you had like Genji and Tracer on this side. Then almost certainly that's going to guarantee a kill, and that's pretty decent. But this is just kind of like a naked D.Va ultimate that is relying a lot on luck. So we'll see what happens. And actually, was there something else I wanted to say about that D.Va ultimate? Right, so yeah, so those are kind of like two ways to do it. But in general, D.Va ultimate's really good to use mid-fight. To make it hard for your opponents to kind of like disengage out of a fight. Very good time to use D.Va ultimates mid-fight. Okay, in general. Okay.
Let's push in with that. Winston behind, Winston behind.
It actually looks like your opponents, they just kind of went to dive you away from the D.Va ultimate, and now they're kind of punishing you because you're in baby D.Va form, and you can't really help protect, like, say, your Zenyatta and things like that. So, man, that D.Va ultimate, that's a really good example of why I don't like D.Va ultimates as opener. So maybe I'll use this video in the future. Okay. Okay, so your Zenyatta's dead, okay. This fight's probably over, and oh, that was the other thing I wanted to mention. I also don't like that D.Va ultimate because, like we talked about earlier, or like I mentioned earlier, really would have liked to see you do a dry push here. So.
Genji on me behind.
Kill D.Va. D.Va.
Yeah, so this fight's over. Just disengage, I think.
Get Genji? Ah, never mind.
So it's really important that you disengage, that you're disciplined about disengaging, because otherwise you feed ultimates like Res, and in this case EMP. So very important that you practice that disengaging call and make sure everyone on the team respects it. Excuse me. That being said, I don't think Sombra used her EMP, so not the worst thing in the world, but still not ideal. Okay.
Yeah, I've got ult. How much until yours, fair?
Just jumping around.
Okay. Do you think you'll get it before the Genji will be able to ult?
Can give you one shield here.
I don't know. Tracer left side. Watch out.
Tracer left. Let's go left then. Let's go left. Let's go left.
So again, the flank, the clumping, I'm not a big fan of it. That's a great kill. I'm not quite sure why that Tracer was there, but cool. So now, actually, this is kind of dangerous because I get the feeling you guys are just gonna rush down main as like a big ball, and that's gonna lend itself well to a nice EMP. So we'll see what happens. If it were me, I would be taking this a little bit more slowly. That's a really good kill, but again, you want to fan out and push all the sides of the map. Okay.
Okay, let's engage. Just go through mid.
All right.
Speed.
Oh.
I can't ult.
Yeah. Okay. But that's fine, actually. You got out the MP, and you have 5 ultimates. And again, that D.Va ultimate, not so great, because you actually would have had 6 now if you hadn't wasted that D.Va ultimate as an opener. So, oh, actually, you guys are getting kills. But almost certainly this is a done deal. I would disengage immediately from this. Again, though, it's kind of hard to tell because we only have Lucio's perspective. So maybe you guys can turn this, but based on my limited perspective, it looks like this is a good time to disengage. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on the kill feed.
We have the advantage. Go.
Using ult here.
Yep.
So I don't know what you guys are seeing.
Tracer left.
Okay, but you got back really quickly. So you guys could make the call. Again, it's kind of hard to tell with this perspective, but you guys could actually make the call to continue this and keep burning ultimate. So we'll see what you do.
D.Va low.
Lucio behind.
Lucio on me.
And you got the, okay, yeah, you got the D.Va mech. Okay.
Lucio half on point.
I'm ulting.
Yeah.
Nice. Very good.
Winston. Go Winston.
Okay. Genji left. Let's get him. Never mind, leave him. Go to Winston on point. Barry, come here, I'll heal you. Get D.Va right. Okay, Genji's left again.
Oh, I would have liked to see a boop there onto that Sombra to cancel her stealth. Let me see that.
Get D.Va right. Okay, Genji's left
Yeah,
again.
right there. Okay. Good, you canceled the hack. That's great.
She used translocator. Get Lucio. Nice. May.
Nice. Actually, I'm going to assume that you guys take this. Oh, wow, maybe not. Okay, let's see what happens.
Get Sombra and then I can ult.
Oh, that's a
Okay,
good
I'm gonna ult after
EMP.
this. No, actually no. Get Sombra, she's low. She's one shot left. Winston right.
Yeah, we got this.
Genji left.
I like the discipline on the sound barrier, by the way. Excellent discipline to hold on to it.
May half on point.
Them chilies.
Lucio.
Lucio. Get Lucio mid. He's left side. Baby D.Va left.
From me.
Yeah, okay, that's
Winston,
perfect
get
time
Winston.
to use it.
Get Genji right.
Genji.
Okay.
Where the fuck is
Oh,
she?
that Sombra. Oh, so annoying.
I can't believe this.
Nice booper, nice. Oh, nice left clicks. To be honest, I actually want to go back, and unfortunately, I don't have too much more time to work on your VOD, so I think I might have to cut this one short. Sorry about that. But I want to see what happened here, because I am shocked that after that EMP from Sombra... Is it right here? Yeah, right here.
Icon ult.
So you guys kill Tracer.
Um,
They kill Lucio and Genji. You get the Sombra.
back. Yeah.
He's low, he's low.
Get Genji.
And then what happens?
Nice.
Okay, so the Baby D.Va, and then you got Baby D.Va, and then the Genji's dead. And you killed Winston.
Someone else go targets.
So, wow, that's interesting. I don't know how...
Nice.
Lucio on point.
So, one thing that their comp definitely lacks is healing, right? So, obviously, Tracer did a really bad thing by dying so early, obviously. But actually, I'm really shocked that you guys were able to pull it out. What was their D.Va up to?
To be honest, you're looking for
I'm trying to understand how this happened.
Okay, listen, Genji. Just go through mid. Speed boot. Icon ult.
Back. Yeah.
He's low, he's low.
And
Get
Winston.
Genji. Nice.
Lucio on point.
Wow, okay, so we don't have the best perspective in the world, so we can't quite tell what happened, but I'm a little bit shocked that even though that was a 6v5 for your opponents, or yeah, for you rather, that you guys pulled that out, so that's awesome. But you know, from a strategic standpoint, that this fight, the way it started, where you guys got actually, you know what kind of angle did she get on that EMP?
Okay, listen, Genji. Just go through mid.
See if we can find
Mid.
her.
Speed.
Oh, quality's not so great, but I can't. Did she hack?
Icon ult.
Actually, I'm not quite. Oops, sorry. I'm not quite sure.
He's low, he's
Okay. Well, regardless, I'm gonna say the opponents made quite a big mistake there, but thankfully you guys had a lot of ults to work with, so that was great. And you guys pulled it out, so that's cool. So unfortunately, I can't assess it any further. But you know, for future reference, in terms of the way you guys are engaging, definitely need you guys to split up more and you know, divide your forces and be more patient with each other, right? It's okay to wait for people to get in position. Just take a few extra seconds to do that, because as you play better and better opponents, they will punish you for these kinds of mistakes. Yeah, cool. So I hope this video was helpful, and if you liked it, please subscribe. Thank you.